I'm Julie.
And I'm Martin. And we live full-time on our 58-foot narrowboat home, Rhapsody in blue.
We're taking you along as we continuously cruise the canals and rivers of the UK with some beautiful scenery, occasional wildlife, landmarks, aqueducts and tunnels. Come with us. Look at this boat. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. And it's towing a butty. You'll remember from last time we were in Braunston for the Historic Boat Rally. In this episode we take a closer look at some of the boats and we also show you the boat parade. It was fantastic. Remember this hooter? This map shows you where Braunston is in the UK. We came across this boat, Purton, and we got to speak to her owner.
Carried the pumpkins, 10 tonne of pumpkins.
Wow!
But
how many got squashed?
All of them. They had to shovel them out.
Oh.
When we bought her, the chap said, if ever you carry again, never ever carry pumpkins.
What a funny
How
story.
many have you got growing in the bilge?
Well, taken over by people who were West Riding Canal carriers, who then ran her up there really for anything, you know.
Wow.
And we bought her down on the Kennet Haven. The back door, inside back door on this one, there's a panel there. It's off a Quail, which was a wooden motor. She was on the Kennet Haven and she sank. She'd had a lot of stuff in, the chap lived on her, she sank there. But down on the K&A, there's nowhere really can look after, get these boats sorted. And they finally took her down to Devizes Wharf, lifted her out and chopped her up with a chainsaw.
Oh wow.
And we went back up, we walked on board, didn't we, where she was sunk. And we walked back up where she was had been laid, and her back door was laying in the reeds. So that is fitted on here.
Quail.
So we salvaged it, and that's all that's left. Well, all that's left is drop-down cupboard. Front is in the museum at on the wharf at Devizes.
Oh wow.
So that was all that's left. They took her in, put her into landfill.
Yeah.
Down here, up on the Canal, I think she'd have been. We've been far worse than those. But when that was no.
What was your names?
Alan and Angie.
Alan and Angie. Well, it's lovely to meet you, and thank you for all that information.
That's all right.
Thank you.
No,
And the boat name is Purton.
Got a nice engine in that one.
I will on the way back. Look, boats for as far as you can see. Wow.
That's their maintenance. They do boat
Oh, right.
lacking repairs.
It's a beautiful swan. This is the view from the bridge overlooking Braunston Marina. And this is the Gongoozler's Rest Cafe. And here's Wendy.
Hello.
Thanks, Julie. And you can either sit inside, or there's Nikki and Martin, or you can sit through here. In a little garden, which is where we sat yesterday. And this boat is actually steam. Yeah.
Right, we've almost ready for the up. Very nearly.
These are all getting ready for the parade. It's amazing how they turn these long 70-foot, 72-foot boats, one towing the other, making it 140 odd foot, and they both turn without hitting a thing. Look at that. Amazing. Look at these. Aren't they stunning? There is some commentary coming up. I've left it on here because some of the facts are really interesting. Hope you enjoy it. So this is the start of the parade. This is the one I just filmed. This is Raymond. It's quite a famous boat. Raymond was actually the last wooden boat to be built at Braunston in 1950. And the boat at the back being towed is called a butty. Just look at this rudder and tiller. Look at that.
Morning everybody and welcome to Braunston. This is the Braunston Broadcasting Company. Here's the news with Paul and Dave reading it. The fleet of boats, the convoys, have assembled from all parts of the country carrying their essential supplies for today's efforts. That's fuel, coal, gas and other supplies for the boats. Other boats, of course, carrying commercial quantities of brass polish. And as I'm reminded, a great deal of nostalgia for the days of the working boats. The boats are assembling now for the parade. We're hoping to have an official start to the parade. Now coming into the Marina Arm, we see a pair of the Jules Fuels fleet of boats, a modern carrying fleet. Of course, still using old boats, in this case the large Northwich boat, the large Northwich boat Toaster, the owner is aboard, and the pair steered today by Andrew, whose own motorboat Tadworth is currently undergoing some minor repairs.
And we used these a little while back.
Oh, they are. Look at them.
And look at this, they've got special guests aboard.
Hey, how are you doing?
The butty that's being towed today by
Look, he's on the boat!
This was built again for the Great Union Carrying Company. This time is a large type of woolwich
It's our
boat.
friends Wes and Amy from
built, of course, at
Boat
North
Time.
Woolwich by
Hi
Howland and Wolf. That was a particularly fine piece of steering there
Fancy-
to get the pair into
fancy
the
seeing
marina
you
through
there.
quite a tricky situation with Nutfield and Raymond heading in the opposite direction. Very clean piece
Brilliant.
of steering by both the motor and butty
How cool
steering.
is that?
Push. I'm just trying not to touch anything.
There's a long history to this boat, both in its working days and as a private pleasure boat. Wooden boats are of course getting scarcer these days because they do require quite a lot of looking after, as indeed do all boats, but the regular programme maintenance is very important for wooden boats to keep them in good condition and to keep them afloat. This is a very good example, of course, of a well looked after boat, and we wish them well on the journey around the parade. But Scott's had an interesting history. It spent World War II working as a fireboat with pumps aboard, so that the London Fire Brigade had a source of pumping capacity which could be moved around the docks to fight the fires from, especially during the Blitz. The boat's now owned by the Canal and River Trust and is normally found moored outside the museum at Stoke Borough. We have another pair from the Jules Fuels fleet, this time Bletchley towing the butty. Bletchley is of course another Grand Union boat, this time from the type of boat known as the large Woolwich. Again, large only referring to the depth of the hull sides rather than the actual exterior dimensions of the boat. The Woolwich boats built at North Woolwich by Harland and Wolff. I'm reminded by my colleague here that Harland and Wolff built the Titanic. These boats have tended to stay afloat for a little bit longer. All being well, they'll stay afloat a bit longer. I'm sure that there are no icebergs in the marina today.
We love hearing the sound of some of these engines. Just listen to this.
These boats, like the last pair of the Jules Fuels boats we saw, are in regular trade, supplying boats with fuel, coal, diesel fuel, gas and other essential supplies. The butty today is Bideford. Bideford again is one of the class of boats known as a large boat, large Woolwich these. Sculptor moving up now towards the turn.
Just in case you weren't aware, the boats being towed called butties don't have engines, so they are literally being towed by the other boats.
This is curiously known as a middle Northwich, because of course it's a middle size, somewhere between the small and the large, but has the dimensions of the boat carrying on, which of course is historically very interesting. A lot of these boats were used as
Unusual, isn't it, with the lines going down and
by the
across
Coventry Canal Society and used by them as a workboat.
on the hull.
Particularly for maintaining the arm down into Coventry itself from Hawkesbury Junction. Again, you can note the cabin is rather different to most of the modern boats, with the very rounded top edges and vents for the engine.
Yeah, the tops are rounded.
Side of the cabin. Willow was one of the later canal carrying companies, started by a small consortium in the 1950s. This boat, Sandpiper, worked for many years. The company was managed by a well-known canal carrying character, Leslie Morton, who in his early life had a very interesting history. Among other things, he was sunk on the Lusitania, and he was the man who saw the torpedoes arriving. Fortunately, he survived the accident, as did his brother, who was also on the same boat, the same ship.
Wow.
In his autobiography, he tells that he and his brother were going through the mortuary in Cork, trying to identify bodies, looking at each other, and they both turned over the sheet on one of the deceased at the same moment. And of course realised that both had survived. You've heard me describe the method of towing using the long rope, the towing rope back.
He's just venting his steam. Hoping he might do the toot again. Wow.
That of course was the safety valves on Hasty blowing off. I worked for some time on the President in its earliest days in private ownership. I was always reminded by the then owners that it's not just steam coming out of the safety valve, but it's pound notes. Coming in now on the return into the marina, we have Nuneaton and Brighton, the Grand Union pair, the motor built from Yarwoods 1937, and the Brighton, the butty by Harland and Wolff at North Woolwich 1936. Both of course are what's known as large boats, large Northwich or large Woolwich. That doesn't refer to the length or width of the boat. That's always about the same, 71 feet 6 long and just over 7 feet wide. It refers to the depth of the hold side. These holds were built deeper, partly with the intention of carrying more cargo and of course to make them a little bit more easy to handle and safer when loaded on the tidal parts of the Thames. These boats are now owned and operated by the Narrowboat Trust, an organisation set up to encourage people to learn about operation of boats, traditional boats, and to crew them to help in their operation. Trust does run an annual or slightly more often delivery trip taking retail supplies of coal. I think probably they go down onto the Thames and the Kennet and Avon. Yes, they have 2 or 3 trips a year. And Empress, which is mooring in the marine arm, is going to turn at the entrance to the arm and then reverse in. This boat originally was built as part of the steamer fleet. Most of the steamers were named with prestigious names such as Empress, President, Monarch and so on. I think in all there were 23 steamers. The steam plant was removed and then replaced with a 15-horse Bollinger in 1924.
Beautifully done. We spotted Robbie Cumming from Canal Boat Diaries on Channel 4. And we got to meet him later too.
To go through the marine, I think, heading in through that characteristic noise of the Bollinger away.
Just listen to this one.
Yeah, the boat owned and operated.
Loves the sound of this engine.
Steered by Michael Pinnock, very smart boat indeed, heading in through the marine arm. We'll see them again shortly after they've turned from the land bridge. Michael Pinnock, of course, as Michael Pinnock Water Transport, operates this boat and several others down in the London area, carrying regular supplies of fuel, gas, coal and so on to the boats moored up around on the River Lee and in central London. This time you'll be interested to see that the boat has a fore cabin. This, of course, was done to add to the family's living space, because the Canal Boats Registration Act limited quite significantly how many people could live in a boat's cabin. Was permitted to have a sleeping for sleeping accommodation up to 4 adults, that is 4 men or 4 women, or a husband and wife, a man and a woman being husband and wife, and up to 4 children. The children, if male, to be less than 14 years of age, or if female, less than 11 years of age. Built for the Severn and Canal Carrying Company, one of those boats that's again designed to maximum carrying capacity, built by Charles Hill in 1935 for the Severn Canal, currently moors on the Oxford Canal, Banbury. One of 8 boats commissioned by the Severn Canal Carrying Company. Now these boats were built with very deep hull sides. As you can see, it's very, very tall out of the water with large bows. These boats were built like this to work on the River Thames, to be able to carry loads even on the tidal part of the Thames. And I see that it has a rebuilt Lister JP3 engine, which was fitted in the 1970s. Originally, most of these boats, I think, were fitted with Bollinger engines. They're all named after the royalty, thus known as the royalty class boats. The originals of the prototype types were the George and Mary, both still in existence, both still in use.
And then some ducks got in on the act.
I have a note from the owner who's steering today that she carried in total 16,743 tons of sand and stone, 507. Adamant, I think, is slightly offended that I'm not talking about them. So here we are. Right, I'll take that as you don't want to hear from me.
This, of course, is a steamboat.
Another Grand Union motorboat heading up towards the now. This one, Michael is a very practiced and confident steer, taking advantage of the wind and steered so that the forex coming around nicely, and he'll be able to back straight into the arm. The carriage sound of bowling. These engines are Slavin diesel. They're started up with a hot bulb, heat that up with a blow lamp, and they're a 2-stroke engine, which has the interesting arrangement of not having a gearbox. You go into reverse by stopping the engine and then starting it off, running in the opposite direction.
Just past the entrance to Marina is Adamant, the steamboat, going back to a mooring outside the stockhouse, as Paul mentioned earlier.
And lastly, we have a few of the tugboats.
The first tug coming through, which I think from here it looks like Typhoon. Waiting to go in the other direction, a modern boat, one of the privately owned boats heading up through the canal while we're on holiday. At Bumblehull Basin in Netherton, one of the few tugs ordered by the Ministry of Supply to assist in the transport of goods and materials around the Midlands during the Second War. The tug's 50 feet, 4 feet long, but unusually a little narrower than most of narrowboats. It's 6 feet 6 wide rather than the more usual 7 feet. Also has a partially rounded bottom, very interesting little boat, well known in this area. It's moored around here for Sunny. Normal service now resumed. Storm goes through into the marina to come out under the ladder bridge and return to the moorings. The tidal bigger was used for many years as the tunnel tug and of course an icebreaker when needed.
Got there. After the parade, we went and found somewhere to have something to eat.
All the drums they go, the rushes at top of pipes they night and day. Fairly well, Polly me dear, I must be going away.
There were quite a few trade stands as well. The inland waterways, the Canal bookshop, the historic Narrowboat Club, and lots of things to see and buy. Oh, you just bought one as well.
Oh, wow, there you go.
That's the one I got. I've got the Harrow.
Filming you. And we finally got to meet Robbie Cumming.
Every time she gets out today, I'm eating.
Fine. There was some stunning art on display in the art tent too. Then it was just one last look at the boats before going back to our own boat. And as you can see, Martin bought a couple of extra tyre fenders for our boat.
Bells and that just to keep it.
Look like the zoomies, haven't they? Look.
She about the same age.
Look out.
Nikki's actually cold. Look at this.
I will not light my fire.
I will light my fire, but I'll put my bed on my couch.
Yes, I will not light my fire.
It's freezing, isn't it? I mean, we've got the fire on in here, but it's too hot now.
I'll turn it off in a minute. Tried the elbow spatter again
And
just now.
And what's the date today?
1st of July.
1st of July. It's mad.
Finn's found a friend. Me and Nikki are walking up to the shops. To school. Well, nobody told me about that. A chippy. And we've been so close. The famous butchers at Braunston. Let's have a look, eh? So outside we've got some fruit and veg. I think we're all right for salad and stuff. Let's have a look inside. Oh yeah, look. got any pies for Martin. Use the shop over there.
Can you carry this back?
And Butcher's is on the end, and there's a lovely community cafe here as well. Going back a different way this time, and we can see the old pump house there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it says 18. It says the date on the chimney. It says 1897. So we have been moored in this pound for a few days now, and it is the 2nd of July, and we are going to be moving forward. There is a boat here waiting on the landing for said lock, and then once these have all gone and this one has gone, then it'll be our turn. I'm going to go and see if I can lend a hand. Hello you! You've even got your volunteer t-shirt on, look at that! So these two boats are coming up, and then it'll be our turn to come down. And these are also subscribers of ours, isn't that nice? This is Sally and Simon at the back on Who'd Have Thought It. So now that the last boat has gone, Jeannie, it's time for Martin and Nikki to come in. He's just saying hello to Sally. There he comes. We're happy to be moving, aren't we?
We are now.
And I'm even more happy because I've got a volunteer lucky as well. Gosh, I'm saying the wind's really picked up. You wouldn't think this was July, would you? Here comes Nikki. Going down. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you. I'm thinking there might be lockkeeper on there, yes, and they've left the gates open for Martin and Nikki to go straight in. The welcome site, and they've told me I can get on, which is really lovely.
Okay, Martin.
Although Nikki's got off. Well, I've not usually inside a lock, so this is all new to me. It feels strange. Yes, it's lovely to have the volunteer lockies on. So yeah, I'm able to stay on the boat, which is really good. Very nice. Water coming in the wall there.
Join us next week as we continue our journey onto new waters as we start a new chapter. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, it's totally free, and click the notification bell and YouTube will let you know next time we upload. And please leave us a comment, we love reading them and I answer every single one. And thank you so much for the super thanks and coffees this week. We really do appreciate it. See you next week. Bye.